welcome to the garage, the Time Warp. Here's the 2002 Dyna. You just saw outside. This is it stripped down, minus the bars. We already bolted those up. It's an 02 FXD, just standard, plain Jane. Bought it a couple months ago from an original owner. Super clean bike. But if you guys like watching cool stuff being built, you guys hang out and watch this channel. We're gonna do a little bit of a build series with these. I was a career motorcycle Harley tech for about 6 years and did a lot of custom metal fab work in the industry, in the custom motorcycle industry about 10 years ago. Since then, I've had lots of kids and different jobs and a new career. But this is something I'm still very passionate about and still do a lot of in my home garage. So if you guys stick with us, I don't really want to do a how-to video. A lot of those questions can be asked down below. I'll be more than happy to answer it. But I'm really just wanting to make some cool videos you guys can follow along and watch these builds come through. We're probably gonna do like a 4 or 5 part series. Oh, back over here. Those are the parts. We'll get to those in a minute. You guys hang tight with us. We're gonna do about a 4 or 5 part build series on this. And then we'll just kind of do like 2 or 3 things at a time per video without making it too long until we get this bike done. So if you guys notice, we got the 10s. I painted those. I'll show you guys some clips of that. It's Nardo gray from Audi. We got all the parts powder coated from our local powder coat shop. They're all high gloss black. As you can see, we're gonna run the Memphis Shades Road Warrior. I'll show you a little bit, a couple tricks on how to mount that up. And, here's the Dyna wheels. They are powder coated Yankee Gold, which is almost like a little spin off the original Sturgis edition that first came out with the gold wheels. So it's pretty neat. But in this video, this is the first one. Appreciate you guys joining us. We're gonna try to get the wheels together and try and get the front end on. Possibly get the fairing mounted up, and then we can get it, kind of get on the ground so it's more stable. I do have a motorcycle lift, but my whole family works on motorcycles, so that's actually at my brother's house right now because his bike is taken apart too. So we're going homeschool with the wood blocks. Nothing against that. It's easy to build a bike on the ground. It's not too bad. But anyway, y'all stay tuned and please subscribe, and thanks for following. By the way, guys, the bolt holding the bottom of your fork slider on, all right, it goes straight up in there. Kind of a booger to get out. It goes through the bottom holes right here. It is a 6mm Allen. It's metric. Those are so easy to strip out, and when you do, you got a booger to deal with. All right, guys, we finished up our fork sliders. Everything's assembled with that, so the front end's getting close. Next up is the Road Warrior fairing. We already have the clamps on these fork tubes that came in the kit. That's pretty self-explanatory. We already bolted our brackets to the actual inside of the fairing. Fork clamps are just loose on there because when we install the fairing onto the clamps, we want to be able to move it up and down, twist it side to side and get it, centered correctly. Once we do that and get it set where we wanted, I already know that mine's going to be set a lot lower than what the headlight bracket will allow, the offset headlight bracket. So I'm going to push mine down pretty low and get it set the way I want, and then I'll address the headlight mounting bracket when we get there. Y'all stay tuned. All right, guys, we already got the brackets bolted up to our fairing, the Road Warrior. I painted my mounts also to match, and obviously the fairing as well. These are the quick detach brackets, so just make sure they're up. I put a little bit of grease on here so they slide into the rubber mounts a little bit easier because they are kind of a booger to get them slided in. Get your bracket snug and we'll see where this thing lands. You want to kind of leave the top brackets loose. That way when you tilt it back to go clamp it in, you can kind of adjust those up and down, because they will need it, because this thing is a snug fit on here. All right, there it is right there. All right, so we got the Road Warrior fairing set in the position we want, and I love it. It looks awesome. One issue we have is because the position we have our Road Warrior set in, it's about 3 inches lower than what it would be if we used the Memphis Shades headlight relocation bracket. Once you use that bracket, it's going to set your fairing in the same spot on every bike every time, because you're pretty much mounting your fairing around your headlight and where that bracket sets your headlight. I got mine sitting down about 3 inches lower than that. That way it'll all be smooth looking. Now, one issue I created with that is now I cannot use any available headlight relocation bracket. So now we're gonna have to custom make one. So you guys stay tuned for some B-roll I got with custom making a headlight bracket, and then we'll get it mounted up. All right, guys. Now comes a little bit of the tricky part. As you can tell, this is a Sportster / Dyna Triple Trees Narrow Glide 39 millimeter. And from the factory, they have a top mount headlight. Goes like so, headlight mounts underneath. Hence a lot of the confusion around the Road Warrior fairing. It won't fit, these certain years, or Sportster so-and-so. You have to have a headlight block that kind of awkwardly mounts the headlight out. So what I'm going to do, and I've done this many times in the past with these trees, they're plenty thick enough to do this, and this is pretty much what's done from the factory. What you do is you're going to find your center line right here, you're going to measure, and I'm going to drill a new hole through the trees. As you can see right now, there is no hole. So these trees really won't accept a headlight block, mounting bracket from Memphis Shades or whoever offers it. So we're going to drill a hole right here, and on the underside of this, it's not really level, but what I'm going to do is countersink it, and I'm going to use a Allen head. So let's see here. This will be my new mounting bolt, and like I said, I've done this before in the past. So this will be the new bolt right here, my headlight bolt. It might not be this long, but this is just my mock-up bolt. So it will go up from the bottom and sit recessed in the tree, so you can't see, a stack of washers and lock washers and a big nut hanging down right here. And this will give a smooth look. So when you look underneath my Road Warrior fairing, you won't see any of the hardware. It'll be the new bracket will be on top right here. So let's get started. All right, guys, got my drill bit. I'm gonna start with about a 5/16. Always use my Cool Cut wax. I've had this tube for 10 years probably. This is the best stuff instead of using liquid and spraying it everywhere and getting all all your parts all nasty. So use your drill bit, center punch hole, got it lined up. I'm gonna use my fork tubes as my guide. Alright guys, so time to start the headlight mount. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut them off right here, cut one off, and I'm actually going to weld a socket hole for the mounting bolt on the triple tree. So let's see. So we got some extra bolts. So we're going to do something like this. We're going to mount it through our tree right there, through our headlight mounting hole, and then I'm actually going to bend this piece right here and see if I can drill a little slotted tab on this end piece, and that way we can mount our headlight through there and maybe have a little bit of adjustability forward and back. So we'll see how that works, and let's get to grinding. All right guys, we got our mount almost done. It's pretty much roughed up. As you can see, I drilled this hole right here out in the mounting hole in the triple tree and slid the bushing in there. So now we're gonna weld this up. You guys can hang out while we're gonna clamp the plate down, and then we'll clamp the bushing down to the table as well, because this table is straight and square. So now we know the bottom underneath this bracket is super flush, and so is the bushing. So we're gonna weld it, get our TIG on, get a little bit of heat. I'm gonna tack it on each side. I'm gonna tack it here and tack it here. All right guys, got the mount installed. This is just a temporary bolt. You can see back here, but I'm gonna shorten that up, but you can see the mount, how it works and looks. That's kind of it right there. Super happy with it, especially when it's on. You know, it looks good. Y'all check this out. Let me slide this headlight in. But there you go. I'm super pumped about it. Tell me what y'all think. All right guys, so we got our Road Warrior fairing mocked up and we got our headlight on. Now we can clean up the wiring. So I just went through and cleaned up some handlebar wiring, made sure it all tucked up tight. Now, one issue is our gauges. This has the Speedo Dyna narrow glide top mount gauges that came off the headlight mount, or the top of the riser. So a lot of guys like them up high in your face. I personally don't like that. I'd rather see the road, especially when you get used to riding one particular bike. You know, after a little while, I know if I'm speeding, you know, I know what my RPMs are. I don't really need these in my face to tell me that. So one little trick I found out a couple years ago and been doing for a while, check this out. So if you take these gauges and they have a 1/4 inch hole in them right now. If you make this, bump this up to a 3/8 hole or a 5/16 hole, they will actually mount perfectly on your old triple tree mounts where the top mount headlight used to go. Your top mount headlight used to go right here, and then it'll come right off because you have to relocate your headlight to the bottom tree for the fairing. And what you do is you just drill these out 1 or 2 sizes bigger, and it actually mounts perfectly on the top triple tree, just like that. And then when you get your fairing on there, everything's kind of hidden, and it kind of has that road glide look to it. So that's one cool trick I like to do. So I'm gonna get this mounted up like this, so my gauges are nice tucked away and still really visible. And then the only thing I'll see right in front of my face is the open road. How we look cleaned up. Hey, buddy. Alright guys, that concludes episode 1. Thank you all for watching. Keep an eye out for episode 2 and more future builds and cool product reviews. Now we got some chores to do and playing in the rain.